Hello guys, this is Ascend for my weekly results video. This video will be a bit different. I will not be showing my graph for the week today because I bought a new laptop and for some reason this laptop is very good, but for some reason Poker Tracker is very slow when importing all my ends that I have, so I'm importing all the ends that I have, and Poker Tracker is kind of slow. I used Antonode to import millions and millions of ends and it worked pretty fast, but now on Poker Tracker just my ends are very slow, so I will not be sharing my graph because I don't have time to be waiting for that. Anyways, my results for the week are the following. I made at the tables 585, I paid in rakeback $50, and the total is 635. Like I said in the last few weeks, I'm reducing my volume massively just because I was feeling very burned out, and I will be taking, as starting probably next week, I will be taking 1 to 2 weeks break, complete break from the tables. I will still be making content, but just taking a break from the tables to recoup completely and then get back on the grind. So, a couple of things before we start the theme of the video. There was a discussion on my Discord group today where people were discussing how much poker players can make in 2025. If you want to participate in these kinds of discussions and even participate in strategy talk and learn a lot with other players, more experienced players, you can just join my Discord. The link will be in the description, and if you are active enough, I will even add you to the private part of the group, which is still available to join for now for free. And there we do a weekly study session together where we learn a lot, I think, and these are very good sessions. Anyways, also if you want to follow my weekly results and other things like live play videos and these kinds of videos, just subscribe to not lose a video. And if you think this video is valuable, please just drop a like so that my work here can be a bit rewarded. And yeah, let's start. So I was sharing my thoughts with someone on my Discord where I shared my own experience for this year, where if I calculate for this year, I'm making so 43k for now, and I played for around 533 hours. If you calculate this, so 43, 43, oops, sorry guys, 43, 40. So this is around $81 an hour. And the person said that that's irrelevant because basically it's a small sample, so it's not even a year. So yeah, and he has a point. So I asked someone, a very reliable person, to just share with me some statistics about the high volume regs on the most popular sites except GG. I will not be talking about GG. I think that's a very different case, but I will be talking about PokerStars, WPN, those kinds of sites. So from the research this person has done, the average high volume reg is making around 2 BB per 100 across most sites at 200 NL. These are the highest volume regs, okay? Both on PokerStars on average. The highest volume regs, both in the most popular sites except GG. On these sites, the average rakeback will be around 40%. So 40%, that means that they are making 2 BB per 100 on average in rakeback. So they are making a total of 2 plus 2, so they are making a total of 4 BB per 100. and that means that they are making $8 per 100 ends. I assume that these players are playing around 700 ends per hour, which I think is completely reasonable. If you think about it, these players are mass multi-tabling, like playing 10 tables at least, I think, in my opinion, playing at least at 10 tables at the same time, which will give you around a rough 700 ends per hour. I think that this is completely reasonable. If even if you, let's say, 10 tables on average, even if they multi-site, which they should, right, to get enough volume. Anyways, they will be making playing around 800 ends. I mean, I put 700 just to be conservative. So that means that they are making $8 per 100 ends. So if we multiply that by 7, they are making $56 an hour. I mean, $56 an hour is not bad, considering that, I mean, in most of the world, this is a very good hourly rate, right? And poker in some countries like the UK is also tax-free, so that's you also have to take that into account. So it's kind of like very good upside, right, when playing 200NL. And we will expand on this idea further. So $56 an hour, let's say they play an average of 6 days a week, sorry guys, $56 an hour. So, and let's say they play 30 hours a week, which I think is completely fine. And let's say they play they play 4 weeks, and let's say they take a month off. Okay, so they are making around 74k, let's say. Some guys will play even higher volume than this, much like more hours, etc. But let's say 74k. I mean, this is in some countries, this is already post-tax, so poker is not taxed in some countries. So you have to consider this. So this is basically, let's say you live in the UK and you're making this. So in the UK, actually, you would probably be making before tax around 100k or even more. So this is a pretty good salary, right? In the UK, for example. Even in the US, this is, I think this is more than average in salary. Anyways, so now this is considering that this is the average high volume reg. So there are regs here that are making actually more than this, okay? And some regs are playing less, but they are making higher, they are winning at a higher clip. For example, I'm winning at very large sample, for example at 200NL. This is an average of all sites. I'm winning at around, I think it's more than 200k ends, obviously not a very big sample, but I'm winning at 4BB, more than 4BB 100, and at 100NL, for example, I'm very, very close to 7BB 100 over even a larger sample. So a lot of regs will be making, will be having a higher win rate. So you can imagine that if, even if we reduce the volume per hour, let's say we reduce it to 600 ends per hour, which I think is perfectly reasonable. I think my average is a bit above this, but let's say 600 ends per hour, and you're multi-tabling and you are table selecting correctly, and let's say you are making 4BB, so you're doubling your win rate, so you're making, and you are still making 40%. If you are site selecting well, etc., let's say you're making 40%, and table selecting, all of these things, I think this is perfectly possible because I do it myself. So I think this is perfectly possible if you are professional enough. So 6BB in total. So you are making, let's say you're playing 200NL, and let's say you are a top reg who is making 4BB 100, and let's say I'm not talking about myself, obviously. I think there are many much better players than me, but let's say a top reg is making 4 or 5 EV. Let's assume 4. So is making around $12 per 100 ends, and if he's playing around 600 ends per hour, is making $72 an hour, which, I mean, this is already very very good in most cases, right? I mean, this is a pretty good hourly, and if you consider that in some countries poker is not taxed like the UK, and you can estimate that this person is living uh, very well above average in most countries. So $72 an hour, let's say, is still, let's say, plays 4 hours per day. Sorry, let's say he plays 4 hours per day. So let's say he plays 20 hours per week. Okay, we reduce the amount of volume quite a bit, actually. This is kind of low volume, to be honest, but let's assume this. Um, yeah, it's making a bit less, right, than the other reg. Anyways, I think 20 hours per week of playing is very little, but just to say that $72 an hour, this is the number that matters in my opinion. So this person is actually making well above average. Now you can assume that this is a 200 NL. Now if you play some, like a mix of 200 with 400 NL, now you are really, in my opinion, making really good money, and you can even go up to $100 an hour if you play like a mix of 500 and 200 and some 600 NL. And if you obviously are a good reg, I mean, we are not talking about people that don't know how to play poker. You need to be a reg that has a win rate, that side selects well, that is playing focus, that focus a lot on a lot of things like table selection, like learning, etc. Now, this person that I was discussing with pointed out something, that is, you are not considering study time, and this is true, right? I mean, this is only the time for playing what I'm considering, so the hourly is not considering the time spent studying and all of these things. So that's actually true, and I agree with that. But if you consider, like, let's say even if that person is studying, let's say 1 hour a day, which for very good regs, I think that's completely okay. Just let's say they don't have the ambition of getting to high stakes, and they are already winning at the stakes they are playing, and at a very good clip. Now you are like talking about 1 hour a day, which is perfectly fine in my opinion. So it's not that different at the end of the day. The Actually, your hourly will not be that different, and you are certainly making above $50 an hour. And if you are not, and if you are living in a country where poker is not taxed, now you are making a very good salary, right? So that's it. I think this is a very realistic number to have your goal as a poker player. I think this is a very realistic number. I think that even higher than this is completely possible. Now, is it easy to get to this level of poker? Obviously not. You have to study a lot, and you have to waste a lot of time early on in your career so that you can actually get to this level. Now, this is not easy, and and the games are much tougher, but also you can improve much faster nowadays, right? Because there's a lot of resources and stuff like this. So I think that at the end of the day, in terms of difficulty, actually, I mean, regs are relatively, compared to each other, they are relatively the same as a few years ago. Now, there's less volume being played online, and that's for sure, and the rake is higher also. So I mean, I think that you could make a lot more money a few years ago, but because of the amount of recreationals, all this stuff. But I still think that this is completely possible. I think that um, as I shared my results so far this year, and I'm not even playing fully 200 NL. I'm right now, for example, the last few weeks, a lot of weeks actually, I've been mostly playing 100 NL. So, and I'm still at $81 an hour, even after the really sick downswing that I had here. Um, so I think this is completely realistic. This is not out of the ordinary, to be honest. And these numbers are pretty real. So I think that's it. I think that this kind of proves that, I mean, this is completely possible. There is no, this is not impossible at all. That's what I mean. And it's not easy to get to this level, but I don't think it's completely impossible or anything like this. And I think you can make a really good living playing online poker still. So that's it, guys. See you next video. And if this was a value for you, just leave a like. Thank you. See you next time.